What's going on, everyone? So all offseason, right? What has been the big kind of question mark with this Lakers team? Defense out on the perimeter, athleticism, and two-way capabilities, right? Guy that can knock down the three ball as well as defend, ideally multiple positions. That's why guys like Andrew Wiggins made so much sense. Even a lower tier guy like a Matisse Thybulle or a Haywood Highsmith, even both could really go a long way for this Lakers team. And it's something pretty much all offseason. We've all, the general consensus has been Lakers at some point are going to need to make that move. In a perfect world, Lakers would have gotten the Andrew Wiggins trade done. I'm okay with them not overpaying for that. Kind of let things figure out. Again, there is still the potential that, Marcus Smart kind of rises to the top and solves that for us. You look at this first preseason game that he actually got into the swing of things, looked fantastic. He's playing on both sides of the basketball, diving for loose balls, all that stuff. He was everything you want and then some. So again, if he can kind of maintain that, really it's just health with him, that could go a long way. Jared Vanderbilt looks every bit like the 2023 Jared Vanderbilt. It's just the offense, the shot. But I really do believe, just looking at his shot, looking at the game, I just think he needs in-game reps, really, is what I think it is. I just think, you see his confidence in his shot. You see the release is a lot quicker. The shot itself looks good. Everything about it looks fine. It's just that there's a big difference between being in an open gym and having a guy with a stick hold up. Very different when a guy is running full speed at you and you got all the noise and the crowds and all the action and people moving around and all these distractions and stuff. It's a different world when you're in a gym by yourself and actually in a live NBA game. So I really do think that Jared Vanderbilt really just needs reps. So maybe that can rise to top. You can argue Jake LaRavia has been our best two-way guy, right? Definitely still needs some work. Definitely a guy that, can progress. But like I talked about all offseason when we got him, he's a guy that I think needs some development, but I wouldn't be shocked by, that by midway through the season, he's our starting three because he's playing both sides of the basketball. And you saw in preseason, he had some really good offensive games. He had some bad offensive games, but he had some good offensive games, good defensive games. He showed the ability to play both sides of the basketball, but he also showed, flaws on both sides of the basketball. So, if he can kind of tighten things up, there is the potential that somebody could still rise to the top naturally, and maybe it's not as big of a need. Maybe it's like, hey, you know what? Or maybe you still want that, but you don't need necessarily an Andrew Wiggins. You need like a Matisse Thybulle or a Haywood Highsmith to kind of use those guys as an example. And we got into preseason, and it was like, okay, let's see how things look. I can't take everything away from preseason, but you kind of get an idea of like things, again, that kind of rise to the top. And it has been abundantly clear, right? Every preseason game essentially went the same. Lakers need defense out on the perimeter, athleticism, and two-way capabilities, right? And that was something that was very apparent in the offseason. Fast forward to preseason, it's very apparent in preseason, and I don't think it's going to go away, right? LeBron definitely helps with athleticism, and we've seen that he can buy in defensively, right, and shoot the ball. So he could help a lot, but he's not going to solve all of it. You're going to need that other guy most likely, again, unless somebody just naturally rises to the top, solves that for you in Jake LaRavia, Marcus Smart, or Jared Vanderbilt. If one of those three guys can kind of, okay, that's the guy that's clear, be our starting three, then perfect. But there is the potential the Lakers are going to have to trade for somebody. The question now becomes, right, during the regular season, assuming that doesn't get fixed, nobody rises to the top. The question then becomes, will we need an Andrew Wiggins level guy? Or will we be okay with like a Matisse Thybulle and or Haywood Highsmith? Because you got to keep in mind, you could get literally Haywood Highsmith and Matisse Thybulle for cheaper than Andrew Wiggins by himself, both contract salary-wise and probably asset-wise. So the Lakers need to see, okay, how is this team as a whole? Because again, Andrew Wiggins, I've made this argument before. One of his best attributes is his ability to self-create as well, and just score the basketball. On any given night, he can be your second best player. Right? That doesn't mean, because I've said this before and I got a bunch of like, he's not your second. Again, listen to the words carefully. On any given night, he can be your second best player. It doesn't mean that he is your second best player. That doesn't mean, every night he'll be your second best player. But he's a guy that on a random Tuesday can go and drop 30 or whatever and self-create and get in that zone and elevate and shoot over the top and gives you athleticism and can apply rim pressure and be a legit 3-level scorer. He's a guy that can put the ball in the hoop. He's a guy that can score the basketball while also defending 1 through 3, slot in 1 through 3 for you, or really 2 through 3, 2, 3, and even some 4 in some cases. But right, but do you need all of that? Right? Even Rui. You look at Jared Vanderbilt, you look at Marcus Smart, you look at these guys, right? You have Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves, DeAndre Ayton, Rui Hachimura, right? You go down, Jake LaRavia, all these guys. You have so much offense. And you have 3 guys that all are best with the ball in their hands that are going to make the plays and create. How much opportunity is somebody like an Andrew Wiggins going to get as far as being more than just relegated to a catch and shoot 3-point shooter and just standing in the corner all game, catching and shooting? Right? Yeah, he can attack the occasional closeout and things like that. But for the most part, it is very likely that he is just going to be standing there catching and shooting the basketball while Luka and everyone else creates, or slashing and moving without the basketball. You don't need to go pay $30 million to get a guy like that. A guy like a Matisse Thybulle could give that to you. A guy like Haywood Highsmith could give that to you. You could go get both, as I mentioned. And now you have 2. And you could even play both of those guys alongside Luka, DeAndre Ayton, and LeBron James at times. Because those guys are the type of players that you're comfortable and fine with just standing in the corner, catching the basketball, and shooting the basketball. So, again, Lakers clearly have a need. The backup center position, I think Jackson Hayes will be fine. All right, he's looked good in preseason. He's going to eat. He's going to be efficient. Lakers going to run a lot of small ball too, right? Because they have a bunch of 6'8" guys. So you're going to have some small ball. Jackson Hayes, I think, can fill in the role. If in the mix of everything, can you get a backup center too? Perfect. Right? If you can go and get, whatever, for a Haywood Highsmith, go get a Day'Ron Sharpe. Sure. Or Matisse Thybulle, can you get a Robert Williams? Sure. Or can you get a Dylan Brooks and a Nick Richards? Sure. Right? If you can get a guy in the thick of things, in the mix of it, then sure, go do that. Right? But I think the Lakers will be fine at the center position. I think Jackson Hayes has shown enough. I think he'll be fine. DeAndre Ayton, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be your star. He's going to be playing 30-plus minutes a night. It's not a priority, in my opinion. The thing that is clearly a priority is the thing that we all thought it would be, which is perimeter defense. Every team in preseason, what do? Take 100 threes and then just trust that you can win a foot race against, Luka, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura. Right? And before that, it was D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura. Right? Luka helps because he is such a good rebounder. He's got such a good nose for the basketball. He is a guy that go get you 8, 9 rebounds a night. Right? So he's a guy that I do think helps more than, say, like a D'Angelo Russell. But again, you still want that athleticism for a guy that can go chase. Marcus Smart looked like a superhero for the Lakers this last game. And it was just because he was hustling. Doing the dirty work. Diving for, again, it's preseason and the guy is sacrificing his body, diving for loose balls so that way he can, help impact this game and make those winning plays. You need more of those guys, right? So to me, I don't hate the idea of taking a chance on a Matisse Thybulle, a Haywood Highsmith. Take flyers on these guys and see if one or multiple of those guys can really have an impact. If you can get multiple of those guys, maybe they can have an impact, right? The Lakers have a clear need that I think needs to be addressed, and I don't think is really going to be truly solved, right? Again, maybe you'll be able to band-aid it with the combination of guys, right? Like maybe you have a good enough combination to where you can kind of. I think eventually we're gonna have to make that trade. We're gonna have to get some athleticism. Again, maybe an Adu Thero kind of comes in and not two-way capabilities, but gives you some of that athleticism and stuff. But again, like, is that somebody that you can rely on come playoff time because of his lack of experience stuff? So, I would, to be comfortable, ideally prefer somebody that has the experience. Even if Adu Thero is fantastic, I'd still look at least a Matisse Thybulle. Like, I think if, say, a Marcus Smart or somebody like that does rise to the top, still probably look at like at least a Matisse Thybulle, a Haywood Highsmith, a guy that can slot into either guard position, slot into the three for you, a guy that can basically defend 1 through 3 for you, has the wingspan, has the size, has all those things, has the athleticism to chase down those loose balls. That's ideally what I would look for if I'm the Lakers. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.